Holy shit, they finally did it. After 5 long years, Sony has released the successor to the mighty a7S II, the low-light king and pretty much the fan favorite of every filmmaker. It didn't matter if you were shooting weddings or music videos or sometimes even movies. The a7S II could handle almost everything you threw at it. And it was my go-to camera for most of my music videos. And for a long time, filmmakers, including myself, have been waiting for Sony to release the Alpha 7S III. Well, now they have, and I'm so glad that this camera doesn't disappoint. Hey guys, what's up? Kunal, Singh here, and today we are taking a look at the brand new Sony a7S III. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. It takes the top spot for me. I was excited a lot about the Canon R5 and the Blackmagic Ursa 12K. The Ursa would probably still be my go-to camera if I have the budget, but the Alpha 7S III, that's the camera I would buy. Now this camera is a video camera at its core, and the photography is just an added bonus in my opinion. I doubt that any professional photographer would pick this up as their main camera to shoot photos. And if you're looking for megapixels, well, you're not gonna get it from the a7S III. It has a new back illuminated sensor, but it's still at 12.1 megapixels. But hey, that's all you need to capture crisp 4K videos. Sony says that you get 15 plus stops of dynamic range with this camera. They may have gotten that result in a more controlled environment, but in my opinion, real-world dynamic range is always a couple stops lower than what the company advertises. It has a new 9.4 million dots EVF and at long last a rotating flip-out screen. ISO goes all the way to 409,600 and the lowest you can go is 40. Autofocus is improved and can be used in any movie recording format. With Sony's exceptional eye autofocus, I'm sure your subject will be in focus most of the time, if not all. There are now 2 hybrid card slots, both of which can accept either a UHS 2 card or the new CFexperess Type-A, whereas the Canon R5 takes the CFexpress Type-B cards. The difference between these two cards is that Type-A has lower speeds and it's a little bit smaller than the Type-B cards. The USB Type-C port now offers fast charging, which technically means that you can shoot continuously for as long as you want, given that you have enough storage on you. A full-size HDMI port is also included, which you can use to record to an external recorder. And at about $3,500, this camera is a bit cheaper than the Canon R5, which is listed at about $3,800. Now let's talk about the video capabilities of this beast. You've got 10-bit 422 4K UHD video with full pixel readout. You can shoot 4K at 120fps or 60fps. It can also shoot 240 frames per second at Full HD resolution at the same 10-bit 422. S-Log2 and S-Log3 is also available, and I think this time around S-Log3 is actually going to be useful since it's now a 10-bit camera. The a7S III can also shoot 16-bit RAW videos at 4K up to 60 frames per second, but for that you're going to need an external recorder. Now, is that a deal breaker? I don't think so. The 4K all-eye is more than good enough and you get crystal clear picture quality with that mode. You also get an amazing 240fps at 1080p resolution. The a7S III has 2 new modes for movie recording, which is the XAVC-SI and the XAVC-HS on top of the old XAVC-S. So what's the difference between these modes? The XAVC-SI is the new all intra-frame recording mode and uses the H.264 compression, which gives you a higher quality video but will also produce bigger file sizes. 4K 60p at 422 10-bit will run at about 600 megabits per second. It'll also record 4K 24p at about 240 megabits per second. Now those are still manageable file sizes. An H.264 file will be easier to work with in post compared to H.265 files, which is what you get when you use the XAVC-HS mode. The file sizes are smaller, but H.265 files are just the worst when it comes to editing. You get 280 megabits per second in 4K 120p 422 10-bit and you get 100 megabits per second when you switch to 24p. You can pause the video to see the chart or let me know in the comments below and I'll provide a download link for that. Then there's the good old XAVC-S mode, which is also 422 10-bit now. This will give you the smallest file sizes at selected resolutions and there is no compromise on the quality. At 4K 120p 422 10-bit, the camera is pushing about 280 megabits per second and 100 megabits per second at 24p. With the a7S III, you get unlimited record time except when you're shooting at 4K 60fps. Then you get 60 minutes of record time. And the best part about the record times is that there is no overheating whatsoever. Yeah, if you're shooting outdoors in scorching heat, then maybe it would, but I'm willing to bet it'll be the Canon R5 by a long shot. So considering all things, this is a hardcore video camera all day, every day. This isn't a camera meant to shoot photos. It's just not designed to. And as I said earlier, it's just an added bonus that it can shoot photos. Nobody is going to pick this up and say, oh, I'm gonna do wildlife photography with this gigantic 12 megapixel camera. And if you do find one of those 8 people, please let me know. But for video, it's another story. This camera is a total winner. I see this camera as my personal choice for music videos and weddings. That buttery smooth 120 frames per second in 4K is just amazing. And on top of that, if you need to go any slower, you have 1080p at 240 fps. The camera is now 10-bit capable, and that's gonna open a lot of doors in post-production, especially color grading. And I'm pretty sure that from now on, I am shooting everything at 4K 120 frames. Let me know what you guys think of this camera. If you like the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel for more videos. Till next one, take care.